Hello everyone, good afternoon and welcome to the second day of QCon. I'm back, yep, they still couldn't get rid of me. If you weren't here yesterday, I'm Jay Radcliffe, President of Dragon Slayers. To my left, I have...
Michael, I am one of the old members of Dragon Slayers, could call me Old Guard possibly, here to help Jay out with this presentation today.
Well, yeah, you should be a bit of crack at the very least. And to my right, someone you might recognize if you watched a couple of QCon streams.
Hey, I'm Jason. I DM Unusual Array, the Thursday stream for QCon.
Check them out, actually. I watched it and I was honestly shocked at the quality. No, it was great. Yep, today we're going to be painting some minis. I have got this white intercessor that you can probably see here, and both of these nerds have Stormcast Eternals, Sequitors, I think they're called.
I believe so. I'm not too up to date on the Stormcast, but I think that's what it's called.
Yeah. Anyway, regardless, we should have posted in chat there now the survey that you can take because you are going to be in charge of how we paint our minis today. Vote for 3 options in that poll, and in about 5 minutes' time, we will pick the top 3, and that is how you're going to force us to paint our minis. I live in fear. We did a test stream of this a couple of weeks ago, and we were forced to paint them black, purple, and flesh-coloured. Yeah, and in here, Michael is not a second J. I'm not sure the world could handle 2 of me. Or second Michael either at that point, you know.
Second of any of us would be a bad thing.
Yeah, honestly. Clones and all that stuff. Second Jason would probably be fine.
Maybe.
Yeah, you're lovely.
It would make life easier for him with all the streaming of the D&D content.
That's very true. That's very true.
Everyone could do all the prep for me.
Yeah. But yep, so make sure to vote in that poll, and do not be afraid to send any questions about like painting or lore or the games and stuff like that. I think I'm probably the one that knows the most about the game side of things, because I play way too much Warhammer. I have a problem.
Yeah, I would say that I'm a little bit rusty. I haven't properly played a game since the 6th edition, so I'm very out of the loop, but...
Paint is a material squishy. Normally a solution with coloured pigments suspended, and you probably didn't want the scientific explanation, but that's what you're getting. Yeah.
It's usually applied in 2 thin coats over the top of a model and used for increasing its beauty and distinctive colorations.
Gorgeous, gorgeous. We know what we're doing, we swear.
We don't.
So yeah, let's see what's all in the lead right now. Oh, all tied for first place is black, blue, and purple. Okay. Which is 2 shared colours from our test stream. But, you know, always good to mix things up a bit. Probably paint mine completely different to last time. What have we been painting recently?
Well, I've been painting the Sisters of Battle Basilica, I believe it's called.
Oh, like the big terrain piece?
Yes, the big terrain piece. I'm painting it for a local hobby shop. So that's been taking up way too much of my time recently. Probably most of my free time that I'm not sleeping or working. So that's the main concern for me. What about you guys?
Jason?
I've been painting my Tau, which I got years ago and didn't touch.
Oh, nice. What unit you painting?
Fire Warriors at the moment.
Fire Warriors. I do love those sculpts, even though they are kind of showing their age a bit. Got that lovely little bit of jank to them. I've been painting a lot of skeletons recently because I've been starting with some Soulblight Grave Lords from Age of Sigmar, and yeah, they're lovely models. They're the new ones. I spent way too much money on them. Oh no.
It's worth every penny though.
Is it?
Well, I can't really say too much. I bought 2 of the Indominus boxes on launch, so I spent...
2 of them?
Yeah, I spent way too much money on that. I needed updated Necrons.
Yeah, the updated Necrons are gorgeous. Like, just comparing them to the old ones with the glowing metal rods is...
Oh, I still have a whole force of those, and the old monoliths, and a few of the old destroyers, which are now effectively useless, but they look good.
Fair. I think you can still use the old destroyers as like the locust ones.
Yeah, I think you can, but...
why would you?
You like the new sculpts, they're much better.
Yeah, like, oh, the Scorpic destroyers with their wee 3 legs, just jittering along.
And of course everyone loves the models that have multiple arms and blades everywhere, because that's how Necrons apparently work now.
More blades for everyone. Remember to vote in the poll. We haven't got that many votes in recently. Black, blue, and purple still on the top, but black has got a fairly considerable lead, actually. And by considerable lead, I mean by 1 vote.
1 is considerable.
My hair, I just wash it. I don't really do anything special to it.
I mean, that's how I do my hair too.
Yeah.
But, like, mine's really short, so I can kind of get away with that. Yours is long, and you're blessed that you can get away with just waking up, and that's how it
Yeah, I
works.
just got good hair.
Grumble, grumble.
No, I don't have any issues like that except with my facial hair. It tends to like mat to one side of my face and makes me look like I've slept in a hedge.
As you do, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we've got to about 5 minutes past here, so I think we're just going to call the vote here. First place was black, and then second and third were blue and purple, so let's get cracking.
Let's get cracking indeed.
Yep, I'm going to be using these new synthetic brushes that they started off white and they're now horribly stained.
Oh, the joys of using pigmented objects on top of white everything.
Yep, well, like part of the reason why I'm using contrast is because we've got these white models, and it's just a great way to show it off.
It really is, but unfortunately the contrast, I am not a big fan of it, but that's only because I'm an old school painter. I like the older style paints, but personal preference I suppose there. Anybody can really paint with what they like.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Like, I kind of prefer contrast because it's an immediate result, and I'm very lazy, as you can maybe tell. But you can then like go back and touch things up really well. Although I would recommend for anyone starting that you still like use the initial method of base, shade, and layer, just because it teaches you all the basics.
Yeah, I would also recommend that. It just gives you a better understanding of how to paint your minis as well. It may not be the way you feel comfortable painting them in a few months' time, but if that's how you're starting out, go for it, give it a try. You may like the contrast, you may like the old school methods, you may find a new method entirely. You could be using an airbrush, who knows?
Yeah, Jason, you use many contrast paints in your day-to-day painting activities.
I don't any.
You don't? Oh, disgraceful. A shame that we brought you on now. No.
Here's like I used to use my brother's, but he lives on the other side of the country, so can't use them here.
You know what? I think we'll let you away with that one, just this once. I think I'm going to go for an all-over shade of blue for this guy to start off with.
Oh, I've just jumped straight in at the dangerous territory and started with black.
Oh
Me
no!
too.
Oh, you fools! Things can only ever go wrong whenever you start with black. That's how you touch up mistakes later.
I'm living on the edge today. Why not take a little risk, see what happens?
But are you living on the edge highlight?
If I was living on the edge highlight, I would have brought a different purple with me. But
Oh yeah, our test stream with you in the ridiculously light purple.
yeah, that took about 12 layers to cover a white model.
Yeah.
Never again, please. Never again.
Happily Robin, contrast is a special kind of paint. It's like a really thick shade almost. It sort of pulls together in like the center of the model and then like peels away from the edges to give a sort of a natural highlight almost.
Yeah, it sort of sinks into the recesses a little bit and they'll darken down as if you have washed the model after painting it. It can give you a little bonus if you're painting like flat armor as well, because it'll pull out to the edges and recesses of the edges and make it look like you've put a lot more work in than you actually have, which is always a bonus when you're in a rush.
Hence why I'm using it. But yeah, so what armies do you guys like collect? Obviously, Jason, you've got some Tau, but you got any other armies on the go?
Yeah, for Age of Sigmar, I played the Stormcast Eternals.
Ooh, the Golden Boys.
Why I chose this guy.
Yep, always got to get a bit of practice in. You excited about the new box that's coming out? What's it called? Dominion?
I still haven't looked at it actually. I mentioned it during the
I have
stream.
had a little look at the Dominion box. It looks rather interesting. Not my style of army, but I like the models.
Oh yeah, absolutely. The Stormcast and that. I remember whenever the Stormcast first came out, like I wasn't the biggest fan of them because they were a bit,
Poster boys.
I think poster boys is a good way to put it. But like, turns out I just really hated their color scheme because as soon as I saw them painted up anything other than bright gold, I fell in love with them.
I love the bright gold. That's why.
Oh yeah, the bright gold's nice, but it's just not the color scheme I choose for those ones. These new ones, though, I think look really good with the gold. And the Cruel Boys, I think, are the other half of that, the new stabby orcs. Because the one thing orcs needed was a brief amount of intelligence because, the world wasn't screwed enough as it was.
And of course, more stabby weapons, because, that's orcs.
Maximum stabitude, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm currently collecting, like I said, Soulbite Gravelords, who are like the Skelly Boys. Just got a Vampire Lord the other day to add to that army. I'm not sure why they decided for the latest sculpt that the Vampire Lord needed to have bats in her hair, but I'm extremely glad that they did.
Bats in the hair?
Yes. It's a vampire lady, and her hair is like, flowing in the wind. And for some reason, rather than just, flowing in the wind, they decided that it was actually going to be held up by bats that are entangled in it.
Oh, okay.
Because Warhammer is a silly game.
But that's why we enjoy it.
Exactly. What are you working on right now, Michael?
I'm currently working on my ever-growing list of Blood Angels, with, of course, the Indominus boxes that I have yet to finish. But I also have a few tanks and bits and pieces that are currently being worked on. But they've taken a bit of a back shelf lately just because of a little bit of burnout painting tanks.
Oh, I get you.
They are fun to paint, they are fun to assemble, but when you spend 30 hours painting one vehicle, it gets a little bit boring very quickly.
Absolutely. Yeah. Remember, any questions you guys want to throw in, any techniques, how to paint? Tell us what you're painting now, actually. It's always fun to hear what people in chat are doing.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see what's out there. I mean, I'm a little bit out of touch with some of the other armies that are currently available. I've been sticking around. Oh, there's one for you, Jay. Some vampires.
Oh yeah, the vamps are such a gorgeous new look. Like, I'm painting up the Vrikos, which are the wolf-inspired ones. Not a furry, I swear. And they're brilliant. One of the models, Radukar, he's so big. He's glorious. But yeah. Actually, Michael, if you would like to get into Age of Sigmar, what army do you think you'd go for?
Just because it does get a little bit of hate, I would still go for the Stormcast Eternals, mainly because I think they would look pretty cool with the red and gold paint scheme.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
That's just the Blood Angel in me coming through, but looking at the model I have in my hand here, I'm painting the robes black, but if they were painted red, they had gold armor, maybe a few silver and blue highlights around here and there, I mean, that would be looking pretty sweet.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I've only really painted one Stormcast, fully to completion, and it was a white with green shoulder pads. Really difficult to do, but yeah. Oh, Dunmer, you've got Lumineth Realm Lords. They're another lovely army. I've got a couple of those. Haven't really painted many of them, but yeah. And yep, ended your keck. Excellent Stormcast opinions from everyone. I'm trying to sort of debate now. Oh, Dunmer, yeah.
Oh, that's a very good idea, actually. Having this Iron Man-esque Stormcast, that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, the sort of goldy. Oh, yeah, that'd be lovely. Because a fun thing you can do with contrast is you put them over metal, and it just looks like candy red metal in this case.
Oh, okay. Well, that's something I would need to try. I do have the contrast Blood Angels paint, but
I really recommend if you're doing it, put base coat it or spray it gold first, and then put the Blood Angels red over top of it.
Ah, okay. So not the other way around.
Yeah. Where on earth is my purple? Here on earth is my purple.
The joys of hiding paints among the paints.
Yeah, I don't know where any of them are, and it's kind of worrying, considering how little I have with me here.
Yeah, I could have brought a few more things. I'm glad I didn't, because that would have become very messy, and there wouldn't be much space left for me to operate here.
Probably not, no. Either of you two into your lore all that much?
I am not. I got out and away from the lore years ago when trying to keep track of everything got confusing.
Oh, God, even I don't keep track of everything, and I'm way too into the hobby.
No, I don't really read the lore, I just like the models.
So you just collect the models based on what you think looks cool?
Basically, yeah.
Absolutely, that's a great way to go about it. And
Yeah.
that's still, even though I know the lore, that's more or less what I go for. I only ever really use the lore to influence my final decisions.
I used to use the lore just to influence paint, actually.
Oh, no way! Look at the screen there, guys. We've just hit our target for pips for our fundraiser pips.
Oh, excellent.
It raised £500, but don't let that stop you. Go to that link there so we can maybe smash that target. See if we can get 200%.
Oh, 200% would be most amazing.
Oh,
And I'm
I
sure
think
that,
we have to throw a party, a socially distanced party.
of course.
Likely a barbecue of some variety.
Or everyone standing in a field somewhere shouting at each other with megaphones. That also works.
That is oddly specific.
I don't totally want to go and do that or anything.
Okay. Let's move on then.
Oh, come on, it would be fun. I mean, we could paint in the four corners of a field.
I think we both know that some kind of some tribes would form amongst those then.
Yes, there would be a small tribe form.
A lot of the enthusiasm there. Ian is here. Oh, painting these shoulder pads purple now. Quite liking the look of this actually. Ooh, fan-dabby-dozy.
Yeah, I'm regretting my decision to paint the robes black now. I think they would have been nicer purple, but I'm going with it.
Yeah, I'm using Shaii's purple, which I like because it's got good coverage, but the actual color itself isn't all that good. It's sort of like a deep wine color.
Yeah, it's not a great color for trying to do anything specific, but it does look nice if you can get the right washes over the top of it.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I don't think there's any really bad colors in the Warhammer range except for maybe Troll Slayer Orange because wow, well, that thing takes 10 coats to cover.
It's also extremely bright, unnecessarily bright in the grim dark future.
But it's the contrast you need, pun kind of intended, to paint overly bright. One of my favorite armies I saw is orcs with Hawaiian t-shirts.
Nice.
Oh.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I've got a few orcs at home I'm painting to look like the Joker, just for a little bit of a comedy-esque army. So there will be Joker orcs on a table somewhere someday.
Oh, that's horrific. I love it.
Oh, yes. I mean, who else doesn't want to see purple and green orcs marching towards them with smiley clown faces?
I mean, I don't. That's kind of worrying. Yeah, you're 100% right. Ian is here. Agrak's Earthshade has fixed many mistakes.
It's also hidden many mistakes.
Yep.
Oh yes, that was supposed to be rusty.
JJ McCoy there. What type of army is my favorite to play with? Ooh, I've played a lot over the years, and I think my favorite is probably just the kind of army that just doesn't go away. It's sitting there and you just can't shift it. One of the reasons I'm really excited to play with my Soul Blight is that they've got a mechanic that they just come back. There's a roll of dice on a 5+, the entire unit just comes back. And it's good to watch all hope drain from your opponent's eyes when you do that.
That sounds like the old Necrons and the Resurrection Orb.
Yeah, they changed the old Necrons because that was really quite confusing.
It was actually very overpowered as well. So long as one model stayed alive, you could bring back the entire squad of 20.
Yeah, I also found it really funny when they introduced destroyer weapons back in 7th edition, or the end of 6th.
Yeah.
Necrons could still get back from that.
Yeah, even though they've been completely and totally vaporized and turned to the void.
Yep. You played many games, Jason?
Sorry?
You played many games?
Not really, no.
Oh,
Don't really have to play.
Well, whenever Dragonstairs is back up and running next year, I'll have to have a game with you at some point.
Sure.
Can I get in on that as well?
Choice in the matter.
Well, no, I played one game and I won it, so I could just keep my 100% victory rate up.
Retire
and never play again, yeah. I won every game I played.
You know, that's not a bad idea. There's many, many people out there who've played this game for years and don't have 100% victory rate, so you may be right in your assumption to do that.
Well, I think it gets significantly less likely the more and more you play to have a 100% win rate, you know?
Well, this is very true. I mean, you could win 10 games, lose 1, you've only got a 90% win rate, so...
Yeah, that agrees with
I
me.
see you've got some fans in the chat, Jason. Yes, Engine Seerkek, I have played against you several times, and I'm not sure you've ever beaten me.
Well,
yes, I'm calling you out live on Twitch. Come at me.
That sounds like a challenge, Jay. I may have to take you on and see if I can break that.
Oh no, I'm terrible. It's just that Engine Seerkek's even worse.
Oh, okay. Can I take both of you on then? I can field about 6,000 points of Blood Angels if you can match that.
Oh, we don't want to get into how much can you field. Painted, maybe for goodness sake, like 5 points.
Oh, painted is definitely not my full army. Trust me, it's probably not even enough to make a table-worthy army. I've got about 2 squads of painted Marines at the moment.
Oh yeah, I've been painting these. Robin there. The game is a thing that hopeless nerds like myself play, where one rolls dice and measures things with a tape measure, and it's measured in inches, which will never cease to annoy me. Although it has made measuring things around the house really easy, because I can just eyeball, like, right, that's 6 inches there, that's 18. An odd skill that Warhammer teaches you that they never expect you to learn.
Of course, people don't often play the game, they do just collect. So there are a number of people out there who are Warhammer enthusiasts who just collect the models because they're pretty and they like to paint them. And there's nothing wrong with that either.
Oh, not at all, not at all. I've got quite a few models that I've just got for the sole sake of painting them. I haven't, but,
Yeah.
you know.
We have the pile of shame.
Yeah.
Mine's a bookcase of shame.
I don't really
Yeah.
buy any more Stormcast because I have them all painted, but if I buy more, then they won't all be painted.
Yeah, yeah. I've only ever had that feeling, like, once. Whenever I think it was when I started my Craft World Eldar army, and I got all of them painted up, and it was beautiful, but it wasn't quite, you know, like a full 2,000 point list. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh, I need to get more, but then they won't all be painted. Ooh, the tragedy, the tragedy.
See, when I used to play Necrons, I did a sort of a cheat method for doing that. I spray painted all of my Necrons gold, did a little red trim on them, and inserted the little plastic glowy rod thing that they had, and that was my army painted. It took me 15 minutes to paint an entire box.
What?
Yeah, I literally dipped them in paint. I spray painted everything gold with cheap gold primer, and hit the armor plates with a little red trim, which was like 5 minutes for all of the models.
That's absurd.
It was a ridiculous looking army. I still have it. I kind of wish I had brought one of them now just to show the folks at home, but it also doesn't ever need to see the light of day again. It needs to stay in the box, hidden away from everyone and everything. It is my shame that I did that.
Yeah, no, like, I would have brought my first ever model to show off here, like, to kind of, you know, like, oh, you know, everyone starts somewhere, but no, I forgot how bad they were.
Oh, everyone's first model is terrible. We can't get away from that because you don't really know what you're doing when you start out.
You brought your first model?
Yeah,
You did?
it is in my bag.
Well, if you can get that out once you've done that layer there, bring it over to the macro camera and we'll see it.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious now myself. And you're also making us look really bad for being ill-prepared.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know.
His head's come off in the box.
Oh, no. The poor wee babbins.
Nothing a little blue tack can't fix temporarily.
Yes.
I don't know how many battles I've gone through with blue tack together models.
I do actually have some glue over there, but
It's one of those like it's one of those easy to fix ones. So I can just put it back in.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm even seeing this from over here. Oh, I just feel bad.
I kind of wish I had my models.
Bring
now.
it to the macro camera.
Yep, bring it over to the macro camera there. So we'll switch over to that just for a second, and you should be able to see it.
Is it?
Look through the
Oh,
screen.
there's a screen just on my side here you might be able to see.
So wait for it to focus, and we'll be able to see it all together. That's really good for a first model.
Doesn't seem to want to focus for you.
Put your hand behind it, that usually fixes it.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I briefly saw there people talking about paints having different flavors, and you may have just seen licking the paintbrush. We recommend you don't do that.
Yeah, it just becomes a habit after a while. It's a handy way to get the bristles back into a point, but I wouldn't really recommend eating paint. Make sure you wash it out before you do that.
It's non-toxic because it's acrylic, but still.
I mean, I'm pretty sure it's not good for you. It's not something you want to be trying to survive on or generally eating and for a meal or anything.
I wonder which paint has like the highest nutrient value. Because we were talking about this before we went live, like Typhus Corrosion, which is a great paint for doing weathering.
Yeah, I think that would have a lot of fibrous content just because of the texture that it leaves, but I don't think it has much in the way of nutritional value.
Probably not, no. You might want to read that comment, Michael.
Would you like to know how to season Necrons? The easiest way to do that is to take your Necron, dip it into a little bit of olive oil, lightly crust it with salt, and then hope that you can play it on the field without dropping it. Please don't do that. That'll destroy your model. I'm just joking. But if you did want to season a model, that's probably what I would do. I really don't recommend that, guys. I mean, if you wanted to eat it afterwards, the plastic's not going to be good for you either. So please, please, please don't do that. I'm taking this from health and safety. Do not do that, folks.
We've made mistakes today, haven't we?
We have made a few, yes. We've opened up a can of worms we probably shouldn't open. Which paint's most edible? How do we season our Necrons?
And arguably it's just a pot of paint, though. It's not a can of worms.
Well, I mean...
I'm annoyed at myself for making that joke.
Yeah.
Oh, what's the most important thing to learn from your first model? Thin your paints!
Thin your paints.
Yes, thin your paints.
Unless it's contrast, you can use that straight from the pot. But
Or if you want to be a rebel, don't thin your paints and try it. I mean, I still don't thin my paints much. I do a little, but not as much as most people would recommend. I prefer it to be a little bit goopier just because it holds better. But I've been painting for quite a while, so I'm just used to it. But I would say the guys are right. Please thin your paints a little.
in actuality, because you might have heard that meme, you know, thin your paints for your minis. The most important thing to learn is patience, which we can't exactly have today because we're only on for 45 minutes.
Yeah, don't do what we're doing.
Of which we're almost halfway through. In fact, we're over halfway through.
Oh no. But whenever you're painting your minis, patience, like making sure that the coat dries, because if you start to apply paint while the coat isn't dry, that just removes the previous coat and makes it all look really blotchy and horrible.
However, if you're doing that with metallics, you can do a bit of wet blending and get two metallics blended together to get an interesting effect.
Wet blending's a pretty advanced technique though, so...
Yeah, it's something takes a lot of practice. Even now, after 14 years of this, I'm not good at it. I've given up on trying.
Engine Sear Keck, do not use wall paint on your minis. Actually, you probably could.
If you thinned it enough, you probably could, but vinyl paint doesn't like other paint over the top of it, so you would need to use a matte.
Yeah. So, like, you could, again, but don't. Although, knowing you, that's not going to stop you. Knowing people in chat, you know, kind of biases us, doesn't it? It's a bit worrying, somewhat.
It does. I mean, now I want to know what a Necron tastes like.
Michael, no!
Okay, I won't do it.
Kale, no, we're not going to use the minis as croutons.
I mean, we could
what is
probably...
one mistake you'll never make again? We're going to make the mistake of eating the paint again. I think that's just kind of, you know...
Are we?
I hope you don't.
I mean, I will try not to, but I'm ingrained in my ways.
It's a fairly common mistake of putting like a cup of tea next to your paint mug and then drinking from the paint mug.
Or if you have a glass of water and a glass of paint juice, I'm going to call it.
Paint juice?
Yeah, there's...
Oh, that's distressing. I don't like that.
It is very distressing, and you can't tell the difference between them because you're not looking, and somehow you get a lovely mouthful of acrylic. It's horrifying.
I'm glad I've not made that mistake so far. But one mistake I'll never make again is obviously, you know, thinning our paints. But when it comes like specifically to like slightly more advanced mistakes I've made, whenever you're applying transfers, make sure you seal them down. Transfers are like basically wee stickers that you put on just with water, and if you don't seal them down with like a layer of clear paint on top of them, they will just float away.
And sometimes they'll float away without you realizing until you look at your model and go, hey, that looks different. And
Where's the wee Dark Angel symbol on that one?
Then you try and figure it out and spend 10 minutes looking for it in the box only to realize it's fallen off mid-battle and it's now currently in a bin somewhere.
Which army looks like they would... Squishy, no.
Sylvaneth, probably.
Sylvaneth, actually, yes, just because they're tree people.
Yeah.
And I'm
Very
pretty
colourful.
sure, actually, I read a story at one point, a short story, about how apparently their soul pods are delicious.
Well, that's
is
slightly
distressing,
disturbing.
But
That means someone has tried to eat another army.
not the models, like in universe, you know.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I've misconstrued that comment. Apologies.
Good question from Grim Tessomancy. Correcting mistakes kind of like varies on how you do it. With general models, I would paint over with the initial coat again, and then work from there. So it's a pretty time consuming, I know, but it's really all you can do. If you're really quick, you can sometimes like wipe away mistakes with your finger to make the later cleanup a bit easier. But you know, sometimes that's just not possible. So say for example, I was going back over this with the blue, and I just splattered a big load of black over the leg. I'd go back and rebase it white, because this started off with a white before I put the contrast on, and then apply the blue back over. That's like one of the things I don't like about contrast, is you need to like rebase it your light color before you can fix mistakes.
Although if you're painting in the more traditional sense, you can patch in where you've made the mistake with whatever color you've made the mistake on top of, and it's usually okay. You might notice a little bit of a darkness or a little bit of a
Yep.
different
And
color.
sometimes you can make the mistake part of the model, happy little accidents, and you know, it's battle damage now.
Yes, that's very true. That silver on the middle of that piece of armor, yeah, that's where something has glanced off it. I totally meant to
Absolutely,
do
yeah,
that.
yeah. Even though this is more of a ceramic color underneath. Do you enjoy painting the smaller guys? Oh, Keel, I think I prefer painting character models, because I like going really in depth and like highlighting a bunch of things. Never been much of a fan for like vehicles, because it's just a lot of work.
I like vehicles just because I really like weathering them. Sometimes it's more difficult to weather a vehicle than just paint it, because you have to paint it pretty and then completely destroy it, and to get it looking the right, prettiness for the battlefield. Is that even the right way to describe it, guys? Would you say it's pretty for the battlefield if it's covered in grime and dirt and horrible rust?
I wouldn't know.
No, I think it's the wrong word.
Realistic?
Yeah, realistic, yes.
What's your preference, Jason?
I like painting smaller models because the bigger ones take ages.
Yeah, sort of like the instant reward kind of
Yeah.
thing. I normally find if I don't get a model finished in like one session, unless I'm batch painting them, which is where you take 10 models and you do one step at a time for each. Like I just lose all interest, and it's a bit sad. But I know myself, and that's just how I am. What's my favorite paint color? Ooh. Favorite paint color is probably Games Workshop's Gene Stealer Purple, just because I really like that specific shade of purple. But like just in general, purple's my favorite color, so I was quite glad when you nerds picked purple to be the color that we have to paint this.
I like the gold that they use for the Stormcast. Can't remember its name.
Retributor armor?
Retributor armor.
Retributor armor, yeah.
Spilled a pot of it on my desk once.
I've spilled a pot of Black Templar, which is the black I'm using right now, on my bed, and yeah, we had to fix that mattress.
Do you mean throw the mattress out or clean?
Throw it out, yeah.
Yeah,
I found
unfortunately.
that blood thing that Timonti's saying. Whenever my guys defeat a big enemy, like a choreograph or something, I do put some blood on them. My Stormcast it is.
There is actually a technical paint that Games Workshop do called Blood for the Blood God, and as you paint it on, it congeals like a pool of blood would, so it sort of like flakes up and gets darker in the middle, but the edges are lighter. It looks quite like bloody and gory. It's good paint for doing like the fake blood highlights on your minis, but I wouldn't recommend putting too much of it on because it can go a little bit overkill very quickly. But if you're looking for the fake blood, that's what I would use. And
it absolutely, as Squishy has pointed out, it is the best paint name in the entire range, without a doubt.
Oh yes, 100%.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of what other paints I really like out of the range. Actually, the Lupus pink that I'm using right now is a really just great pick one. Blood for the Blood God, Skulls for the Skull Throne, and if you don't get the third part of this, we can't be friends. So I'll wait for a second. Oh, well, guess not. Guess you're dead to me. But yeah, the last part is milk for the cornflakes. I'm not sorry.
Can I go home?
You can go home after this. We've got about 10 minutes left.
Yeah, we've got a little bit of time. That was just the worst pun I've heard in a long time.
The joke is that the god's called corn.
I know.
I'm saying for the people that don't know their lore in the chat.
Shh. I don't get this.
I'm not sure why I'm using this voice.
Nor am I.
I'm sure it sounds terrible. I'll stop.
It's probably horrifying for the folks at home. We do apologize.
I don't.
Well, I apologize.
Let's see here. I think I'll move on to the base now before I do the last wee metallics.
Oh, I'm not even touching the base on this. I
The
don't.
base is the most important part of the mini.
Okay, I will swap over and do the base then. I will not continue with what I was doing. I will try and get the base done.
Good, good.
Because I was going to just leave it.
No, engines here, Keck, it's not JSMR. That's... No. Why does my name have to rhyme with so many things? But yeah. Now, I've been sort of thinking of getting into... Age of Sigmar's got like an RPG called Soulbound. I've been really tempted to run a couple games for that. Because it's a very simple system, but, you know, that's pretty fun anyway. Like, it's just D6s. And the Age of Sigmar world is so bonkers stupid that it's kind of hard to mess it up.
Plus, a simplified RPG is always fun. I mean, if you can run it with a single die, why not?
Well, you need just like a bunch of D6s. Like
Oh, you need a bunch?
the most I've seen, like any streamers I've watched was like 8 at once. And that was
Oh,
for,
well,
like,
even that's not too bad.
yeah, that was for like a bloodthirster or something ridiculous. So
I mean, I've played some of the other RPG systems out there that require you to have like 30 dice just for one character,
oh yeah, yeah.
which isn't so fun.
Oh well.
It's a little.
I was going to ask a question there. It's gone.
Sorry about that.
It's all right. Haven't had enough caffeine today. I should fix that. Well. So, if you guys were going to like collect any other army right now, what do you think you'd go for? If you were just told, you know, someone came into your house and said, "I'm giving you £500 to start an army. It cannot be, in your case, like more Space Marines, and in your case, more Tower, more Stormcast." What would it be?
The Idoneth Deepkin.
Oh, the Idoneth. I love my fish elves.
Yeah.
I think I would go for orcs. Just a bunch of orcs. Doesn't matter what kind, fantasy or, Age of Sigmar or just the 40k orcs. I just like them.
Yeah, orcs are quite nice, and like, you know, they're both getting really nice updates soon with the Cruel Boys for Age of Sigmar and the Beast Snaggers, I think they're called, for 40k.
Yeah, I mean, I do have about 200 or 300 points worth of orcs. It's not enough to run.
Oh,
a
so
lethal
you're
list.
cheating?
Well, you didn't specify that I couldn't do it. You did say Space Marines.
Grumble, grumble, grumble.
I do have a few orcs. They're mainly character models, so they're not actually a list that I could use for anything. So it doesn't really matter too much if I grabbed a few extra and put an actual list together.
Makes sense to me, makes sense to me. Yeah, what would I go for? Because I've been sort of on an Age of Sigmar binge right now.
Orcs, Daka, yeah, that's exactly it.
Chat, so predictable. But yeah, no, I think I might go for... I'll probably go for more AOS. Might go into Stormcast.
The models are nice for the Stormcast.
Yeah, especially like the new Thunderstrike ones, like for the new edition. Those are gorgeous.
Although, I mean, starting another army means that you have a lot of stuff that's unpainted again.
That's never stopped me before.
That is a very valid point.
Yeah. I have been tempted to get into like other like gaming systems. Like I saw there's now like a Skyrim one based on a lot of models from that, and it looked really interesting. If only because the models looked really nice. But I'm not sure like what I would get into.
I've been thinking about, if we're going into other systems, I've been thinking about getting into Flames of War myself, just because I like World War II and historic tank battles and things.
Oh yeah.
So that would be kind of, maybe if I had a choice to go into another gaming system, what I would do.
And Jason, you've got a couple like D&D miniatures, don't you?
Yeah, I collect D&D miniatures for D&D.
I'd be shocked if you got the D&D miniatures for some other purpose.
Yeah. I also collect the Song of Ice and Fire ones.
Oh, the Song of Ice and Fire minis are really great. How much does an army cost? Well, it really depends on the army. Normally, like, if you go for a lot of budget options, and it really depends on how big the army you want to make is, because you can get away with just, with, just getting, like, a start collecting set for between 50 to 85 quid, and, like, that's just your army. That's you done, and if you're happy with that, that's it.
Yeah, I mean, that would be an initial sort of cost for it, and then, of course, you would have to get some paints as well with that, but I mean, that's something that can be done in stages. You don't want to just go and splurge all your money at once. I mean, you could buy the models, and then maybe a few weeks or a few months later after you've assembled them, you could put some paint on them. But really, I mean, it depends on what you want to do and how comfortable you are spending money on the hobby. You could just buy a small starter set. There are paint and tool sets that you can buy that come with a few models. They're about £25, and you could paint the 3 or 4 models that come in the set, decide whether you like the hobby or not, and you're not out a lot of money, which is always a bonus. Plus, you've got some paints to start you off if you wanted to try something different.
Yeah, absolutely. Only got 5 minutes left here, so we'll have to start thinking of finishing up.
Oh.
Yep. So I'm working on my metallics now. Just getting these sorted out. Then I will show things off to the macro camera in about 2 minutes when this is done. I'm not sure why I'm doing this voice now.
You're doing your JSMR again.
No, please, don't call it that.
Hey, chat said it. It's now sticking.
No.
You know the rules.
I do. Just realising you didn't drill the holes for the bolt guns in this. I'm very disappointed in you.
You can be as disappointed as you like. The only drill I had at home was a Black & Decker, and that would have drilled the entire model in half, so please no.
JJ McCauley just asked in chat, can you play with an unpainted set? And you can, yeah.
Yes.
Oddly enough, in Warhammer 40k, they actually have rules for it where you get less points in a game. Of course, you can just sort of house rule this away if you don't have a fully painted army. Although I think I've played against someone who has a fully painted army like 5 times.
Yeah, fully painted armies are rare and far between because, like most of us, we see a new pretty model, we buy it, and we may just get it base coated enough in time to put it on the field. It's not looking the same as everything else, but you could, potentially just place everything down in the field unpainted grey plastic, and that would be fine as well. It wouldn't look the prettiest on the field, but hey, if that's how you want your army, that's how you want your army.
We will show you the minis in a second, Team Monty. Don't tempt me. Well, I'm putting on some weird voices today. I don't think I've had enough sleep.
Definitely not.
How are you guys getting on with the models?
I'm beginning to panic because I'm nowhere near complete. But when I spend too long on a model, I tend to spend way too long on a model. This is a challenge for me today, and I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
My typical model painting is one model takes me a week, so 45 minutes to sort of get something half decent is scary.
Well, you agreed to be part of this.
Oh yeah, I agreed. I did try.
Display to us the miniatures. Let us observe the minis.
I did practice.
Chat's going through a thesaurus right now to figure out some ways to force us to show you the minis.
Well, we've got a few minutes left here, so we may need to just bounce out here and decide it's done.
Yep, I'm just going to say that mine's done.
I'm just going to put a quick wash on mine, and then it'll be done.
Sad, truly. Oh well. You can play the game if you can't afford minis. Lots of people will be nice enough to show you some extra ones. Let's just switch over to the macro camera here for a second. I will put this fun lad here. Oh. Should we focus on there? There we go. Went for purple shoulder pads, like sort of silver accents on the gun and stuff, because that just works. Blue legs and stuff, and black torso. Pretty happy with it. And of course, the base. The most important part of the mini. Makes him feel part of the world.
It is an essential part of the world, but we don't know what our world is going to be. I will quickly show off my mini once I just put this last little stroke
What
of
if you
paint
find
on.
an in-law reason for not painting your minis? Do you get full points? No, you don't. One of my friends tried that a while ago because they've got an army called Grey Knights and just had them grey. We've got less than a minute, so we're going to have to quickly show things off.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks very much. You guys should probably just spam in chat who you think is the best.
Did the metal bit
Obviously, I'm biased and think mine is atrocious, but
And
thanks, guys. It was only 4 or 5 minutes.
we'll slide in the last one here very quickly if it shows up. He's looking a little bit worse for wear. I would like to get a few more washes, a few more layers in there, but I mean, we've done our best in 45 minutes.
Yeah, honestly, I'm proud of all of us. You know, we did good. We did good.
We did good. We did.
Exactly. Actually, yeah, I'm just looking from the socially distanced space we have here, and both of them are great. Well done, everyone involved.
Yeah.
We're going to have to sign off here, unfortunately. Next up, for the next 15 minutes, we've got Cooking with QCon. John Joe's going to be showing off in a pre-recorded video how to do Poplars from Futurama. And then after that, it is the Cooking with QCon after this, right? No, it's not. It is the cosplay competition results. That's it. Cosplay competition results. And then we've got some cosplay tips and tricks. So if you're into your art stuff, stay along for that. There's going to be great stuff coming there. So we will see you all then. See ya.
Bye.
Bye, guys.